Hi, it's Amy with Superior Threads, and today we're going to make Christmas stockings out of quilts. What you'll need today is a quilt that you're willing to cut up. You're going to need a pair of scissors, some thread, a seam ripper, and pins. You're also going to need a stocking pattern. You can make your own, or you can download it free from our website. So let's get started. The quilt that I decided to use is a quilt that I had made. It was in my daughter's basement in her rec room over the sofa, and she's remodeling her basement. So she brought the quilt back to me, and I was looking at it, thought this would make great Christmas stockings. One reason why I like this one is because it has a border around it, which makes the stockings look like it has a cuff on it. And so I like to make quilted stockings with quilts with borders, but they also look good if they don't have a border. So whatever quilt you have is great. And us prolific quilters, we know we have a closet full of quilts that we can do this to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to download the pattern. On superiorthreads.com, on our free pattern page, is a free downloadable stocking pattern. You can go to the website and click on it and download it for free. What we're going to do now is take our pattern and line it up on our quilt to get that nice edge, to make it super easy, because easy means done, right? So you can line it up with the very top edge of your quilt. I like to line it up with the seam of my binding. I don't know why, it just seems like a good place to do it. But we're lining it up with the top. Whatever you do, make sure you do it consistently with all your pieces of your stocking. So we're going to line it up. I'm going to pin it. Put some pins here so it doesn't go anywhere. That looks good. Another pin right here. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut out right around this stocking. You don't have to be too particular about it. It's a very forgiving craft. So I'm just going to follow my edge, cut this out. Okay. That's all cut out now. I do want to say, when you're cutting out your stockings, this one, for me, the toe is facing left. My next one I'm going to cut out with my toe facing right. You need it one facing each direction. Otherwise, you'll get the back on the inside of your quilt on the outside of your stocking, which you don't want. So when you cut them, one facing one way, one facing the other. Now that that's cut out, remove this. I have two right here. We're almost ready to stitch. The only thing we have left to do is to create the little loop that hangs on your stocking, so you can hang it at your fireplace or wherever you want to put it. So I have a piece right here. So you'll get a lot of scraps from your quilt like this from cutting it up. And I just take a piece that seems long enough, and I'm going to rip off the binding. I'm going to rip it carefully so I don't rip the fabric. This one I already started, so I'm just going to use my seam ripper and rip off the binding. Okay, pull that off. And now I have the perfect, it's already ironed, it's already, all the ends are already tucked under. Let me pull some of this thread off with my scissors. It's already ironed, folded, ready to make a little loop. So I'm just going to figure out how much I need, about that much. Cut it off. And I'm going to stitch right down here just to keep it closed forever. And I'm using Masterpiece, which is Egyptian grown Egyptian cotton thread. It's great piecing thread, and I'm using Super Bob's cotton in my bobbin for this activity. And I do want to say, a good hint is, I have on my sewing machine, I have a cone holder, which makes it great. It's always more economical to buy a cone of thread than a spool of thread. So those thrifty people out there, you're better off investing in a cone. You're going to get more yardage for your dollar when you do that. If you do not have a way to have a cone at your domestic sewing machine, you can purchase the Superior Threads cone holder, which Chase will put a picture of it up somewhere right now. And you can get that thread holder. It's a cone holder. It also holds specialty threads and bobbins if you want to use up the rest of your bobbin. And it'll sit right next to your domestic machine, and you can use a cone to sew all these projects. If you don't like cones, all of this thread comes in spools as well. So we're going to take this and we're going to stitch it down. I'm just going to do a nice running stitch right on the edge here. Okay, so there's it's all stitched down. Now we're ready to stitch our stocking together. So I'm going to take one of the sides, it does not matter which one, and I need to pin my loop on. So I'm going to pin it to the outside of the stocking, the good side of the quilt. Just going to make a loop. I'm going to stick it right here in the corner, and I'm going to leave a little bit of the edges, we can cut those off later, sticking out beyond the edge, because that way I'm ensuring that I'm going to capture the loop while I'm stitching. I'm going to pin this down. Well, I'm all thumbs today, I guess. Pin that one down. Do a nice little loop. And pin this one down. Okay, so now I have it pinned on the right side inside my stocking. Now we're going to stitch this together. And the most important thing for this is I'm going to keep the top edge of my stocking lined up. That's the only tricky part of this, and it's really not that hard. I'm just going to make sure when I stitch that the tops of my stocking are together and even. So I've got them together. I'm going to start sewing. You can pin your stocking all the way around. This activity is super forgiving. You don't have to be exact with it. When you're done and you turn it right side out, it's okay if it's not exactly perfect. So I'm going to start stitching. I'm going to lock my stitches in, and I'm going to stitch 1/4 inch all the way around the edge of the stocking. Okay, when I get about here, I'm about maybe 5 or 6 inches from the end. I'm going to realign the top of my stocking right here, just to make sure that when I get to the end that they're perfectly even. I'll lock my stitches. Okay, and I'm going to trim off any excess I have over here where my loop is sticking out. There we go. Now you can do this part, you don't have to. I don't typically do this, but if you want to take out some of the bulk of the toe, since it's crammed in the toe when you flip it, you can just put some notches in the biggest part of the toe. Make sure you do not cut your stitch line. Then you'll have a hole and all that Christmas candy is going to fall out. Okay, now we're going to just take our arm in here and we're going to flip it. Take my pins out. I'm going to stick my hand down in here and push the heel out and push the toe. And now we have a perfect Christmas stocking ready to go. Thanks for crafting with me today.